Have you felt weak, fatigued, experienced vision problems, or had issues with dizziness and difficulty breathing? Be careful, you might have a vitamin B12 deficiency. Sadly, a deficiency in vitamin B12 is one of the most common causes of fatigue and weakness in adults, especially in the elderly population. This deficiency results from the body's difficulty in naturally absorbing vitamin B12, that is, through the intestines. Vitamin B12 does not naturally exist in the human body. It is supplied through animal-based foods and some plant-based ones. However, if your body has lost its absorption capability, or if you follow a strict vegan diet, it's very likely that you might have this vitamin deficiency. To determine if you or a family member have a vitamin B12 deficiency, pay attention to the associated health symptoms. But before we delve deeper, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to stay updated with our content. What is the purpose of vitamin B12? Vitamin B12, or cobalamin, is one of the most important and necessary vitamins for the body. It is the source of energy, vitality, and contributes to genetic and blood composition. This vitamin is involved in the production and maintenance of red blood cells, which are responsible for transporting oxygen to different organs of the body. But that's not all. Vitamin B12, combined with folic acid, also helps synthesize DNA and RNA and produces white blood cells. Given its role, this vitamin is considered vital for our body. It supports DNA development and ensures the body remains healthy, since a good balance of white blood cells prevents infectious diseases. Fortunately, the daily requirements for vitamin B12 can easily be met with a balanced diet. It's only 2.4 micrograms daily for adults. However, its deficiency is quite common. In various studies, the incidence can range from 5% in younger patients to 30% in people over 60 years old. Who might have a vitamin B12 deficiency? People with organic disorders can also have difficulty absorbing this vitamin. An example is an alteration in the gut microbiota, which refers to the collection of microorganisms and bacteria living in the stomach tract responsible for breaking down food, among other functions. Individuals who have had intestinal surgery or consume antacids frequently are much more likely to have an altered gut microbiota, making it difficult to absorb vitamin B12. Even those who drink more than 4 cups of coffee daily have a lower probability of absorption than those who don't drink coffee or consume it in lesser amounts. The same can be said for birth control pills. As you can see, there are various ways the body's absorption of vitamin B12 can be impaired. It depends on each individual, their health condition, lifestyle, and diet. The symptoms of vitamin B12 deficiency are: Number 1, constant fatigue and sleepiness. If you constantly feel exhausted and even sleepy for most of the day, despite having slept your recommended 8 hours, it's very likely you are experiencing a vitamin B12 deficiency. The lack of this vitamin leads to physical tiredness as the body isn't producing enough red blood cells, which are responsible for transporting oxygen through your bloodstream to your brain and other organs. This, in turn, results in your cells not receiving enough oxygen, hindering their performance and making you feel drained. Vitamin B12 deficiency is one of the main causes of chronic fatigue, so it's advisable to consult a doctor if you feel exhausted most of the time. A vitamin B12 deficiency can be determined through lab tests, but it has also been shown that even a slight decrease in its blood levels can cause fatigue, especially in the elderly. This kind of exhaustion is often associated with pernicious anemia, an autoimmune condition that prevents the sufficient production of a protein called intrinsic factor. This protein is produced in the gastrointestinal tract and, along with the gut microbiota, is responsible for absorbing vitamin B12. There are also other significant factors, like the consumption of certain medications, such as stomach protectors, metformin, and others, that can reduce the absorption of vitamin B12. But that's not all. Even though physical exhaustion often induces sleepiness, another reason for always feeling sleepy is that a B12 deficiency also affects melatonin levels in your body. Melatonin is the hormone responsible for regulating sleep. If your melatonin levels aren't appropriate, you will feel even sleepier during the day. 2. Muscle weakness. Muscles provide strength and endurance to the body. Without strong muscles, the body becomes weak and lacks the necessary endurance for daily activities. A deficiency in vitamin B12 is one of the reasons you might feel muscularly weak, meaning without strength or endurance. This is because muscles also require oxygen for their growth and strength. If you lack enough vitamin B12 in your system, then you have fewer red blood cells supplying oxygen, which directly impacts your musculature. A continuous deficiency of vitamin B12 can produce a range of neurological symptoms due to damage to the myelin, which is the protective covering of all peripheral nerves. This results in decreased reflexes. If you feel physically weak or your muscular endurance isn't the same, consult your doctor because you might have a vitamin B12 deficiency or another condition that could be causing this weakness. Number 3. Vision problems. A deficiency in vitamin B12 can lead to visual problems and, more specifically, eye damage. This is because it injures the optic nerve and obstructs the blood vessels of the retina. Vitamin B12 is essential for proper neurosensory function. When it's lacking, the neuronal connection doesn't function properly, affecting how the brain processes the information it receives. Thus, visual impairments are one of the consequences of a deficiency in this vitamin. In fact, a recent ophthalmological study found that a deficiency in this vitamin can lead to neuropathic eye pain as well as dry eye syndrome. If you're experiencing blurred vision, dry eyes, or eye pain, don't hesitate to consult a specialist promptly. 4. Yellow skin or jaundice. When the body lacks enough vitamin B12, it fails to produce the required number of red blood cells. This, in turn, leads to issues in DNA production as there isn't sufficient information to construct the cells, preventing them from dividing properly. This results in megaloblastic anemia, a type of anemia in which the red blood cells produced in the bone marrow are overly large and weak. This condition prevents these cells from entering the bloodstream, causing the skin to take on a pale or yellowish hue. With poor quality red blood cells circulating in fewer numbers, the skin becomes paler. This also results in an increased natural destruction of the altered red blood cells, leading to an excessive rise in bilirubin, a brightly yellow-colored substance produced when hemoglobin found inside red blood cells is metabolized. The end result is a slight yellow tint in the skin and eyes. If your skin has turned paler or yellow, it's essential to see a doctor to assess your condition and take appropriate measures. 5. Pin or needle sensation. One of the most severe damages caused by vitamin B12 deficiency is to the nervous system. This damage results from the demyelination of neurons. The sensation of pins or needles is known as paresthesias, and it mainly occurs in the hands and feet. If the deficiency progresses, there could be a loss of sensitivity and a decreased sense of position and vibration. Myelin is a fatty substance that covers nerves, facilitating neuronal connection. When there are issues in its development or production, or when it deteriorates, a sort of cerebral short circuit occurs. Consequently, the nerves and neurons in the affected area can no longer communicate properly. This distorts the information being sent, causing misinterpretations by the body. This in turn can lead to mobility issues, sensory system alterations, and even cognitive changes. When the body exhibits sensory failures due to altered myelin, it might be associated with vitamin B12 deficiency. In such a case, a tingling sensation or feeling of pins in the limbs is a warning sign. However, these symptoms can also be indicative of other medical conditions, so a deficiency in vitamin B12 is not the sole explanation. If you've experienced this needle-like sensation traversing your limbs, it's best to consult a doctor before rushing for a vitamin B12 supplement. 6. Changes in gait. As previously mentioned, neuronal damages can impact an individual's motor skills. If the body's vitamin B12 deficiency goes untreated, It's likely that neurological damage will progress, eventually affecting one's walking pattern and coordination. This type of disorder is more prevalent in older individuals, where absorption issues can lead to a loss of myelin, which in turn impacts mobility. As a result, they may experience frequent falls, lose balance easily, or exhibit a rougher walking style. On the other hand, younger populations who suffer from untreated vitamin B12 deficiency can also be affected by demyelination, leading to a decrease in their motor abilities, among other issues. It's vital that at the first sign of motor function alteration, one consults a doctor, particularly a neurologist. This specialist is trained to study the damages inflicted on the brain and the subsequent consequences on an individual's functionality. Not every neurological damage is due to a lack of vitamin B12. Thus, the specialized doctor will recommend a series of tests to make an accurate diagnosis. 7. Dizziness and breathing disturbances. As we've already discussed, vitamin B12 deficiency can lead to anemia. If you are experiencing anemia, common symptoms can include feelings of fatigue and exhaustion, as well as dizziness and breathing abnormalities. A shortage of red blood cells responsible for transporting oxygen to your brain and vital organs means that even minor daily activities can cause dizziness, and your breathing can become altered swiftly. Something as routine as standing up might induce feelings of vertigo and lightheadedness. It's crucial to remember that proper oxygenation is foundational for good health. Without adequate oxygen, your organs cannot function properly, weakening them and making you more vulnerable and frail. However, it's essential to understand that a deficiency in vitamin B12 levels isn't the sole cause of these symptoms. Therefore, it's vital to consult with your doctor before beginning any form of treatment. 8. Changes in the tongue. The tongue is a body part composed of muscles and features like taste buds. It is also covered by a mucous membrane. Like any muscle and organ, it requires an appropriate supply of oxygen and red blood cells to function correctly. In some people, a deficiency of vitamin B12 can lead to tongue alterations, such as glossitis, an inflammation of the tongue. This condition can be painful and lead to the loss of taste buds due to stretching, making the tongue appear smooth, change color, and also affecting the way one eats or speaks. Recent dermatological studies have found that vitamin B12 deficiency was the sole cause linked to glossitis in patients. Interestingly, these patients also had linear lesions on the tongue. Notably, this study showed that these patients did not exhibit signs of anemia or neurological alterations, suggesting that vitamin B12 deficiency can manifest differently in individuals. Fortunately, the effects of tongue atrophy and inflammation caused by vitamin B12 deficiency improve rapidly once treatment begins and are entirely reversible. If you notice changes in your tongue or feel that you can't taste food as before, it is essential to consult your doctor. 9. Mood changes. Another sign that may indicate a vitamin B12 deficiency in the body is mood changes. Studies conducted by Oregon State University found that low levels of B12 can trigger depression, mood disturbances, and dementia. This is linked to the theory that homocysteine, a chemical found in the blood which the body uses to produce proteins, can cause depression. Homocysteine levels rise when B12 levels drop. High levels of homocysteine can damage brain tissue and affect how the brain processes information, leading to mood changes. Some studies suggest that mood disorders, where no other cause is evident and a B12 deficiency is identified, can be treated and show positive effects when B12 intake is restored. Some research has even shown that B12 supplements improve cognitive and motor functions in people with chronic diseases, such as Parkinson's disease. However, mood changes can be the result of B12 deficiency, but they can also be caused by hormonal changes or a long list of other causes. If signs of depression, mood disturbances, or psychotic behaviors appear, it's ideal to see a mental health specialist. Only they can determine the cause and prescribe the appropriate treatment. There are several signs that may indicate your B12 levels are low. While some are more obvious than others, it's recommended to seek medical evaluation before taking any supplement. As you await your diagnosis, you can improve your diet since vitamin B12 is not produced by the human body, but is stored in various organs once ingested. The most common and effective way to provide your body with B12 is through foods that contain it, such as poultry, fish, red meat, eggs, milk, namely animal products. However, nowadays you can also find foods enriched with B12 in supermarkets like bread and plant-based milk. There are also supplements available in pharmacies and herbal stores, but it's best to see a doctor and get the relevant blood test, called the homocysteine test, to confirm a B12 deficiency and rule out any other conditions that might produce similar symptoms. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have something to add, please share it with us in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up and share the link with your family and best friends so they also know the 9 signs that your body needs more vitamin B12. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, life is always better when you take care of your health. Thanks for watching.